The specter of societal collapse, legitimacy, order, and the descent into anarchy. Societal collapse represents a profound transition, a shift from a state of relative order to one characterized by anarchy and widespread instability. It is not merely a political or economic crisis, but a fundamental breakdown of the structures that hold a society together. This phenomenon, tragically, is a recurring theme throughout human history. To truly understand societal collapse, we must delve into the intricate interplay between legitimacy, order, and chaos. These concepts are not mutually exclusive, but rather exist on a continuum, with the erosion of one inevitably impacting the others. Examining this dynamic is crucial for comprehending how societies unravel. Legitimacy, in its essence, is the acceptance of authority and the rules that govern a society. It is the belief that those in power have the right to rule, and that the laws and institutions are just and fair. This acceptance is the very foundation upon which social order is built. When legitimacy erodes, the structures of order begin to crumble. Citizens lose faith in their leaders, institutions become ineffective, and the social contract that binds society together begins to fray. This erosion creates a fertile ground for instability and ultimately anarchy. Anarchy in this context is not simply the absence of government, but the absence of a recognized and accepted authority. It is a state of lawlessness and chaos, where individuals and groups pursue their own interests without regard for the common good. This is the ultimate consequence of a legitimacy breakdown. The decline and eventual collapse of the Roman Empire stands as a stark historical example of this process. It was not a sudden event, but a complex and protracted decline spanning centuries. This decline was marked by a gradual erosion of the legitimacy of the Roman state. Over time, the Roman Empire faced numerous challenges to its legitimacy. These included political corruption, economic instability, and constant external threats. These challenges gradually undermined the public's faith in the central government. Corruption became rampant, with officials enriching themselves at the expense of the public good. Economic instability led to widespread poverty and social unrest. These factors combined to erode the foundations of Roman society. A rise of powerful warlords further weakened the central government. These warlords commanded their own armies and challenged the authority of the emperor. This created a climate of instability and lawlessness. As the central government's ability to provide basic services diminished, public faith eroded further. The government struggled to maintain infrastructure, provide food and security, and administer justice effectively. This failure to meet the needs of its citizens further undermined its legitimacy. The fraying of the social contract became increasingly evident. Citizens felt less and less connected to the state and less willing to abide by its laws. This breakdown of social cohesion paved the way for the breakdown of order. The breakdown of order manifested in various ways, including localized power struggles, economic disruption, and the fragmentation of the empire. Different regions began to assert their independence, further weakening the central authority. The empire, once a symbol of order and stability, descended into chaos. The collapse of Somalia in the late 20th and early 21st centuries provides a contemporary example of the dynamics of societal collapse. The central government, weakened by internal conflict and external pressures, gradually lost its legitimacy. This loss of legitimacy created a power vacuum that plunged the country into anarchy. The Somali government became increasingly unable to provide basic services such as security, justice, and essential resources. This failure to meet the needs of its citizens further eroded its legitimacy. The government's inability to maintain order created a climate of fear and uncertainty. The power vacuum created by the government's weakness was quickly filled by warlords, clan leaders, and extremist groups. These groups competed for control of territory and resources, leading to prolonged periods of violence and instability. The absence of a functioning legal system further exacerbated the situation. Somalia descended into a prolonged period of anarchy, characterized by widespread violence, displacement, and the absence of a universally recognized authority. The country became a patchwork of competing power centers, each vying for control. This state of affairs persisted for decades, hindering any attempts at rebuilding a stable and legitimate government. A lack of a functioning legal system meant that there was no recourse for resolving disputes peacefully. This led to a cycle of violence and revenge, further destabilizing the country. The absence of a universally recognized authority made it impossible to enforce laws or maintain order. Several theoretical models can help us understand the dynamics of societal collapse. These models provide insights into the factors that contribute to the erosion of legitimacy and the descent into anarchy. They offer a framework for analyzing the complex interactions that lead to societal breakdown. The tragedy of the commons illustrates how the over-exploitation of shared resources in the absence of legitimate authority can lead to societal collapse. When individuals act in their own self-interest without regard for the common good, they can deplete resources and undermine the stability of the community. The absence of a legitimate authority to regulate resource use exacerbates this problem. The prisoner's dilemma demonstrates how rational self-interest, in the absence of trust and enforcement mechanisms, can lead to detrimental outcomes for all parties involved. When individuals cannot trust each other to cooperate, they are more likely to act in their own self-interest, even if it harms the collective good. This lack of trust can lead to a downward spiral towards anarchy. These models highlight the importance of trust, cooperation, and legitimate authority in maintaining social order. When these elements are absent, societies are more vulnerable to collapse. The erosion of trust and the breakdown of cooperation can create a self-reinforcing cycle of instability. The concept of failed states provides further insights into the dynamics of societal collapse. Failed states are characterized by a crisis of legitimacy, widespread corruption, and weak institutions. These states are unable to provide basic services and security to their citizens, fueling resentment and distrust. Examples of failed states include the Democratic Republic of Congo and Afghanistan. In these countries, the central government has lost its ability to effectively govern, leading to widespread violence and instability. The lack of a functioning legal system and the prevalence of corruption further undermine the state's legitimacy. The inability of failed states to provide basic services and security creates a fertile ground for armed groups and criminal networks. These groups challenge the authority of the state and further erode order. The presence of these groups makes it even more difficult for the government to regain control and restore stability. The erosion of order in failed states often leads to a push towards collapse. As the government loses control, different regions may begin to assert their independence, further fragmenting the country. The breakdown of social cohesion and the rise of violence can create a self-perpetuating cycle of instability. Societal collapse is a complex process driven by the erosion of legitimacy. This erosion is often the result of a failure to provide basic services, enforce rules, and maintain trust. When a government loses the faith of its citizens, the foundations of social order begin to crumble. The breakdown of order leads to violence, instability, and ultimately anarchy. In a state of anarchy, individuals and groups pursue their own interests without regard for the common good. This can lead to a cycle of violence and revenge, further destabilizing the society. Understanding the dynamics of societal collapse is crucial for prevention and mitigation. By identifying the factors that contribute to the erosion of legitimacy, we can take steps to strengthen institutions, promote good governance, and foster social cohesion. This can help prevent societies from descending into anarchy and mitigate the devastating consequences of collapse.